get some rather unfortunate news regarding motocross. A Swiss motorcyclist, Jason Dupasquier, he passed away at the age of 19 on Sunday, and he did it in the sport, Nate. He got into an accident at the Italian Grand Prix, and I seen the video. I'm not going to post it in the description because I just feel like that's disrespectful to post somebody's death video in the description below. But if you guys want to go check that out, then go look it up on YouTube. If you don't, then don't. That's your choice. But yeah, he was in a Moto 3 accident, and basically what happened in the accident was he slipped. He basically like slipped off the motorcycle, and he and his motorcycle actually ended up hitting him. And there were two other drivers involved in that accident, and it was Ayumu Sasaki and Jeremy Akoba. They were involved in that accident as well. In one of the races, I can't remember which one it was because they each had because Akoba and Sasaki both had the same color motorcycle, so it was kind of hard to tell. But one of the motorcycles actually ended up jumping, and it went up in the air, and the driver actually flew off the motorcycle, and he actually landed on the grass. So that looked pretty painful as well. But the two other drivers that are involved in the accident, they ended up walking off. But again, um, Jason Dupasquier, they ended up treating him on the track for about approximately 30 minutes before a helicopter came and airlifted him to a hospital in Florence. And yeah, they tried to save him, but at the end of the day, he had too many severe injuries and he ended up passing away. A little bit of information on him this year. He was in his second season of MotoGP. He was in the lightweight class and he was in the top 10 ranking setting into the weekend, which shows you how really good he was. Second season, he was top 10. So it shows you how great he really was. MotoGP, they had a 1 minute moment of silence for Dupasquier before the 23 lap race. The race was won by Fabio Quartararo. And he said during the race, actually, before he said anything, he drove towards the scene of the accident. He pointed to the sky and then he waved the Swiss flag on the podium in his honor. And he said in the quote, he said, and I quote, "It was tough because when you do the 1 minute silence, the emotion is coming really quick and it is difficult to stay focused. We got the win, and that one was for Jason and his family." And in Formula One, they tweeted, they said, and I quote, "No words can ever describe the pain of such a loss. Our thoughts are with Jason's family's friends and the entire MotoGP community." Now, before I pass on to you, Nate, I want to give a moment of silence. But before I give that moment of silence, the source for this article is ESPN Associated Press. Before I pass on to you, I just want to give a moment of silence to Jason Dupasquier. Thank you. All right, now I'll start off with you first. Your thoughts on Jason Dupasquier passing away at the age of 19?
Well, first of all, may Jason Dupasquier rest in peace. Condolences to his friends and family. He was only 19 years old, so he was just way too young to die. His life was just getting started. And it's just really unfortunate to see him go out like that. It really goes to show you how dangerous racing is. From NASCAR to Formula One to bike racing to rally car racing, all these things. Um, but unlike bikes, well, unlike cars, where you got in NASCAR, you got roll cages, you got all these techs that are keeping you alive. You got fireproof suits. In Formula One, you obviously in racing in general, you got your helmet no matter what. But in Formula One, you got your thing on your neck so it doesn't break and all that type of stuff. In motorcycle racing, all you guys a helmet and that's it. You know what I mean? There's no protection on a bike, and that's just that. You got two wheels, you got a helmet, and that's that. You know what I mean? There's no roof over your head. There's no roll cage surrounding you to protect you from this stuff happening, And it's very common for this type of stuff to happen in racing too. It's just unfortunate that it does happen to begin with. Um, but the fact that Jason Dupasquier was only 19 years old when this happened, it's so sad to see, that his life was just starting to begin. He was a top 10 racer, which makes it all the more upsetting because this dude had a future ahead of him. And for it to end the way it did, it's just so sad. I do like how they honored him though. That was really cool. Um, Fabio, he was waving the Swiss flag on the scene of where the accident happened, which I really like because Jason Dupasquier was a Swiss racer. So that's a really cool way to honor him. So I do commend him on that, and I do wish him the best of luck moving forward. As for Jason Dupasquier, again, it's just a very sad way to go out. He went out at a very young age, and it's just very unfortunate. But he died doing what he loved, and it's just sad to see that him go out like that. So with that being said, may Jason Dupasquier rest in peace. Condolences to his friends and family. Yeah, and this is just really unfortunate.
Yeah, well, before I say anything, may Jason Dupasquier rest in peace and condolences to his friends and family. Yeah, you said it best. Obviously, there's no protection really with a motorcycle. You have your gear, and that's about it. And it really is hard to stop those motorcycles too. And Alcoba, he said on TV, he said like he ended up revealing that he thinks that he might have ran over Dupasquier's legs, which again, that's not his fault because it really is hard to. Again, you really don't have a lot of room to brake in motorcycle racing. You, if not any at all, you really don't have a lot of time or any time at all to brake because you're going so fast. And that's exactly what a motorcycle as well. When you're going fast on a motorcycle, just driving down the street, sometimes it really is hard to brake that motorcycle. So as a motorcycle driver, you got to be more cautious. Especially I'm not talking about racing. I'm talking about like motorcycle drivers in general who just drive, who just drive. You got to really be more cautious on a motorcycle because it is harder to brake. But in Jason Dupasquier's case, it really is unfortunate. He's again his motorcycle slipped. It ended up falling on. It ended up hitting him, actually falling on him, and then another motorcycle, and then two more motorcycles came. Three motorcycle crash. So it really is unfortunate. But again, he had a bright future. Again, top 10, and he was only in his second season. That really is unfortunate. It really is sad too. And he was only a kid at 19 years old. That's definitely way, way too young to die. His father was actually a former motocross racer. His father is Felipe Dupasquier. He's a former motocross racer. So in case you guys are wondering if that last name sounds familiar, his father used to race. But it really is unfortunate, Nate. And I got to give a lot of respect to these drivers because they do something very, very dangerous, but again, we got to give them a lot of respect because they still do it anyway, despite the fact that it is really dangerous, especially motocross racers. If people want to count racing as one of the most dangerous sports, then motocross racing has to be the most dangerous because you have the least protection. Like you said, in Indy racing and Formula One, in NASCAR, you have that thing that secures your neck. They ended up adding that and a bunch of new technology to help the racer, to keep them safe. In this case, really, a motorcycle isn't really going to keep a motorcyclist safe. One slip and they end up getting into a big, big injury. So it really is unfortunate that Dupasquier had to go that way. He was way too young, had a promising future, and it really is unfortunate. You know, as to the other drivers, I hope that they're okay as well. Again, they were part of the accident. It was a pretty rough accident, so I hope that they're okay as well. But as far as Jason Dupasquier, it really is unfortunate that he had to go through this, Nate. And if you ever seen motocross racing, they're so close to each other too. That one slip, and again, it's bound to have a chaotic accident, because you can't stop yourself. Okay, like turning, it really isn't going to help. I don't know if you have enough time to kind of turn away from it. So it really is unfortunate. But regardless, with that being said, may Jason Dupasquier rest in peace. And again, condolences to his friends and family because this is definitely a sad loss for motocross racing, without a doubt.